Hey everybody, this is Storytime with the Man. That is, I am the man, Stuart Otis, M.A.N, the middle-aged nerd. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to start making some videos, calling them Storytime with the Man. I've been around, I'm 40 years old now. I've been around, I've seen things, and sometimes when I'm talking like with my customers, with my landscaping business or my catering business or whatever, and I seem to be entertaining, and people tell me all the time, oh, you should put your stories on YouTube. So I don't know, I guess I kind of lack confidence. So you guys, my all 43 of my subscribers, you can tell me what you think. This is just kind of maybe some therapy. So here's something that kind of came to my mind, which is, have you ever been like right, but when you were like proven to be right, there was no one around to like validate you in your rightness? I'll tell you guys what I mean. So, used to go to this Walgreens that's 24 hours because I used to have a late night restaurant called Midnight Grill, as many of you guys may have known who watched my earlier videos I did on YouTube. Pandemic got me in 2021. I kind of refocused. Video for another time. Anywho, about twice a month, I have to go pick up some medication for my wife from the Walgreens. Nothing too heavy, but I'd go in there, 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning when it's absolutely dead. And there's this one pharmacist lady who used to work there. We had actually went to high school together. We didn't really know each other that well in high school, but we were the same age, same class, and we had went to high school together. So we'd kind of like talk and just kind of BS, chit chat, whatever. And her name is Ashley. I won't give her last name. I don't even know her last name. But we get into talking, and sometimes we talk heavy stuff, politics and family and what have you. And I could tell she was one of these gals who, ever since she was in first grade, she was always trying to excel, always trying to be the best student in class, always studying, always just, I don't want to say little Miss Goody Two-Shoes, but yeah, and you could tell that, she was kind of probably really good looking in her younger years, but, some women as they age, their looks don't keep up as well as some other women. But this gal, she had buckled down, went to college, and it was like a later in life decision that I think she was like in her early 30s. She decided she's going to go to pharmacy school and get into the pharmacy business, And I asked her, well, why'd you want to be a pharmacist? And she's like, well, I have a family, I'm married, 3 kids, just need to make more money. Gotta make more money. And I'm always kind of like, I've never believed that you should do a job just because it pays more money. I believe you should get into a business because you like it. And if you like it, you're naturally going to want to excel. If you love frying chicken, if what gets you up in the morning is the smell of the batter and the seasoning and that chicken after it's been frying, and you just love it, then you need to work at KFC. If that's what kind of cranks your yanks your crank, so to speak. But she was like, well, I used to have a job here, made $30,000 a year. Now I'm a pharmacist. I make $115,000 a year. And this is Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that's a pretty good scratch. And, after I'd kind of talk to her and get to know her a little bit, well, so you have your husband works? No, he stays home with the kids. And she's trying to put on like this, well, we're real liberal and progressive and we're new age and bup. And I kind of like, at the time I was like, well, her marriage isn't going to last, because it was just kind of the way she talked about it and her whole attitude about it. I could see she was a nice enough woman, clearly intelligent, but she didn't really love the pharmacy business. Because I asked her, I said, well, what's the thing you like most about your job? And she goes, well, I like not being here. And I was like, huh, okay. I guess what they do, like with a lot of people, like in the medical field, my dad has this too at his job, where you'll work like 80 hours a week, but in like 7 days. So they'll have you do like a bunch of like 10 and 11 and 12-hour shifts in 7 days. But then they whack up your work week. So it's like 40 hours on each week. So they're not technically paying you your time and a half, but you work 7 days and then you're off 7 days. And then you work 7 days and you're off 7 days. But it ultimately ends up being like a full-time salary. I have a cousin who's a nurse. She works like 40 hours a week, but she works 3 days a week. And I just thought, okay, so your life is basically, the week you're on, you basically go to work for 12 hours. You go home, you take your shower, and then you collapse into bed. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. And then, the week that I'm off, I take a day to kind of rest up, go out, do stuff with the kids, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, so your husband, like, he doesn't work at all? He doesn't deliver pizza? Like, in the week that you don't work? And I was like, and she's really trying to sell me. And dude, I can tell you, just from being in it, I've been with my wife 20 years. Our marriage is just rock solid. We are not getting divorced. Are we happy? Rarely. We have a 4-year-old. We're exhausted. But I know my chick. She knows me. We both know that we are in it to win it. And there's nothing in this world that would ever separate us. I love her too much. She loves me. But we've been through it. We've been through hard stuff. But I'll tell you, as hard as our lives have been and as challenging as they have been, I don't know. I'm a miserable bastard as it is. And I like what I do. I have a landscaping business during the day. I have a laundry business. I still do my catering in kind of a zombified form. But I like what I do. I like mowing lawns. I like cutting down trees. I like, delivering cheeseburgers. I like, doing people's laundry. So it's not a chore for me to get up and go to work. And I remember like talking to her, like, so how, because we had some deep conversations, and I was like, well, how does it work? Like, do you see him? Do you see your husband as like a sexual being? Because if you've ever seen that movie Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton, this is like what I'm picturing, like what their house is. Because I'm like, when my wife and I first got together, I was 20 and she was 29. All right, I'm 40 now, she's 49. She made, for like the first 5 years we were together, she made more money than I did. She was older, she was much more established in her career. But in 2003, I think I made probably about $33,000 delivering pizza for Pizza Hut. But I was going to college. She made like $50,000. Plus she had benefits and 401k and health insurance and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't like I wasn't a man, because we both understood, I'm young. I'm a lot younger. I haven't had as much time yet to establish myself. I've been an adult for 2 years. She had been an adult for 11 years at that point. So my wife never really tripped out about that. I think if I had been 29 and she was 29 and she was making $50,000 a year and I was still only making $32,000 a year and I had like nothing else going on, she definitely would have looked at me odd, because my wife's a proper woman. When She actually left, she broke up with her boyfriend, who was like this hotshot banker who made really good money and was a few years older than her and was ready to marry her and stuff. And she didn't feel it for this guy, but, she felt it for me, what have you. And I remember, like, I just knew this ain't gonna last, because I said to her, I'm like, a man's gotta work. I said, I'm all for, women's lib and all that stuff. I've got nothing against women working. Hell, women have been working since the caveman days. I got no problems. A woman wants to be, if she can do the job and be a Marine, if she can, cut it at the same standards as a man, cool. Cool beans. Pay her the same. If a woman does the same quality of work as a man, pay her the same. I am all for that from that aspect. But I told her, I said, your husband could do, like, he could drive for Uber. The week that, you're not working, I'm like, you watch the kids. He could at least go out and drive for Uber for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, make $100, make $125. Do DoorDash. Hell, do Spark, that Walmart delivery thing. I do that sometimes part-time. And I'm like, it may not be as much, but, dogs got to chase rabbits, mice, cats got to chase mice. Men have to work. It's in our DNA. And it doesn't matter. Like my grandparents, Granny and Papa, we lost him to bowel cancer about 3 years ago. And, but they were together, married 68 years, but they were together since they were children. And Papa used to brag on Granny, that Granny worked at the post office and she was the postmaster. And there was a run of several years where Papa was the sheriff of the county they lived in, and she was the postmaster of their post office. And Granny actually made more money than Papa did, because the postmaster's salary paid better than the sheriff's salary. Papa just thought that was the greatest. And he loved and bragged on Granny, and he was very old school and very conservative in a lot of ways, but also very progressive and very forward thinking in a lot of ways too. He was a good man, and I miss him a lot. He was a good grandfather, good father, he was a good husband, loyal man, and provided, but he still worked. If he had just had the attitude, oh, well, my wife, she works at the post office, she's got this good salary, whatever, I'm just not going to do anything and be a bum, their marriage wouldn't have been as good as it was. So I'll cut a long story short, which is impossible with me. I went up to get medicine one time and talked with there was a new girl who was working there, and I said, well, what happened to Ashley? And I guess she had a little bit of inside baseball and moved back out of state with the kids to live with the folks, was going through a divorce. And I thought, yep, I knew it. And the whole time, she was trying to gaslight me into telling me, oh, I was wrong, and I was just pig-headed, and no, she wasn't mean about it. We had spirited debates, but she was very much a liberal, and we both kind of wanted the same things, but there's something with people that it's weird. Like, I don't have a college degree. Well, technically, I have an associate's degree. I have a 2-year community college degree, but that doesn't really count for anything nowadays. I think there's something where people, they go to college or some big fancy university, and they get a piece of paper, and it says that, oh, you went here for 4 years or whatever, and now you know how to do business or pharmacy or underwater basket weaving or whatever. And I have this piece of paper, which means I'm smarter than everyone who doesn't have this piece of paper. And even sometimes they have that attitude of, oh, well, I'm even smarter and know more and I'm infallible against people who have the same piece of paper as me because somehow my piece of paper is more valuable. And I've faced that my whole life. I have cousins who have, college degrees, and they kind of look down their nose at me, even though they still live with their freaking parents at our age, and I've been on my own since I was 17, and I stand on my own 2 feet. I take care of my family, no welfare, no rich parents, live in a nice house, do very well. And it's weird how some people think, because I was legitimately trying to help this girl. And I was like, your man should be working, because it's like caging an eagle. An eagle's got to fly. You can't keep an eagle in a freaking cage. So, anywho, I never got to not rub it in her face, but I wonder if she realizes. I wonder if she realizes that's what broke their relationship up, because apparently they had been like college sweethearts who had known each other, but then they hadn't dated in their 20s, and I think 30 had kind of crept up on them, and she decided, well, I got to go to this pharmacy school thing, and I think he maybe was like, I can tell you exactly what happened, because I know these scoundrels and these scumbags. They had known each other. They had probably slammed a couple of times back in the Dizzy homeboy. And this guy here is, this chick is going to pharmacy school. And she's kind of good looking, but because she was always so focused on school, she was never really hip to when guys were, maybe figuring out a way they could take a little advantage. So they have a couple of kids, and he's like, well, you're a pharmacist. You're going to make more money than I make as a, assistant manager at Jiffy Lube. Why don't you just, we'll do the whole new age liberal thing. Why don't you just take care of the kids? Or, excuse me, you go to work. I'll take care of the kids, and it'll be better that way, because you can make $115,000 a year, and I'm a freaking idiot who can only manage $38,000. So we'll have a better life. And she bought into the big lie. And now she's in her 40s like me, and she's divorced with kids, and her best years are behind her, and she's only going to get lower quality men than the man she divorced, and she's going to end up either single and miserable or married and miserable for the rest of her life. And I was right. And I know that's stupid, but you guys know. All right. This is the Man, Storytime with the Man, signing out.